so many people brought up inner child. This was like, this is like a couple decades ago. And I was just like, are you kidding? That is so lightweight. I was just like really even like kind of grossed out by the concept, And then he's like, I'm a baller. I get stuff done. And I can do whatever I want. And I'm a mother. And what I realized, I mean, it took a lot of expertise to kind of get me to this point, is that one, there's a lot of misunderstanding in the self-help space about what the inner child is. At least in my perspective, I think there are different opinions, and some of them are right and some of them are wrong. Like, my perspective is that the inner child is not you in this lifetime when you were 8 years old, 10 or 12, whatever the age is. That's like real Stephanie. And whatever happened really happened. Go to therapy, heal, work it out for sure, for sure. The inner child is a symbol. It's a brilliant term that has you just, I mean, as soon as all of us hear the term child, there's a kind of gentle, tender consideration,
Yeah.
And it symbolizes your unconscious self, the unhealed part of yourself. Like I just did a gig this week in Vancouver, and it was such just a precise question. It was just like, how do I love myself? I hate myself and I'm an overachiever. And I know it's coming from self-hatred. And I was like, boom, that's actually everybody's question.
Right.
And it's just like, you know what you need to do? Just treat yourself like you're a 5-year-old. Really. And those of us who are parents, those of us who love children, whether we've lived with them or not, to care for a child, you feed them good food 3 times a day, on time. You make sure they get enough sleep. When they cry, you have infinite patience. They could come to you every day, the same thing. And you say, what do you need? Oh, you need a hug. I have 10, 100,000 hugs for you. You know what? You probably just need some rest. Come on, let's hang out with fun people. Let's laugh. Let's play. If we all treated ourselves like that, we would be living in peaceful places. The world would look so different. But we don't. And we override our deepest sensitivity. This is really it. So it's like, you and I, we speak on stage. Before I would do gigs, I used to get in my kind of hyper motivational way, as that kind of trampoline. And I would talk myself up like, I got this, I can do this, I'm a goddess, and right? And that's actually, for me, not helpful. What's helpful is I take care of the real business, which is just like you're on a family outing. You make sure your kids are chill, fed, taken care of. I talk to my inner self, my
And there's
inner
snacks.
child now.
Always make sure there's snacks.
Make sure you got snacks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I will talk to baby Danielle, little Danielle, however she's showing up that day. And I say, what do you need? And she'll say, you hear the simple things like, I really need to get some sleep tonight. Or I love the applause. Or can you hang out with some friends after? Like always very simple, healthy requests. And then once she's taken care of, that I'm in the parent mode. I heard you, I got you, you're coming on stage with me. And I'm a powerful, divine mother. I got you and I got this gig. That's wholeness. Wholeness is not, you need to be quiet because I have things to do. Wholeness is not overcoming your fear. You created your fear. Everybody, if you get one thing out of this discussion, maybe this is it. Fear is a product of your mind. You are in control of your mind. I mean, lots of us, our minds are hijacked right now. We're not actually in control of our mind. We're letting the news, et cetera, or something someone said out about us 15 years ago, hijack our higher thinking. Why would you obliterate, ignore? What's the word when you leave your family? Disown. Why would you disown anything that you created? What? These are mind babies. Your neuroses, your panic, your fear, your neediness. They're actually all really beautiful things if you hold them properly. All of it wants your attention. So like when you get into be bossy Stephanie, that's a great observation. That's an old survival mechanism. It really worked when you were 15 years old. Way to go. Look at where it got you. And now you are so much more. You are so much more loving and so much more aware. You don't need to vibe at that level, but you still got to love bossy Stephanie. And when bossy Stephanie comes up, or arrogant Danielle, or needy Jane, or whoever,
rebellious
Joe,
mm-hmm.
It's just our unhealed self saying, hi, I don't feel safe. And so what do? You be the spiritual grown up and you say, in a friendly, warm tone, talk to me. It tells you what it's feeling. And you go, okay, I heard you. Guess what? I got you. And you go. Because the motivational culture, this shit we've been fed about overcoming our fear, that we get a lot.
It's like you have to slay the dragon. It's like you have to get over your fear. Like you have to jump out of the plane. You have to do these things that are burn the boats. Like it has to be adrenaline pumping chaos, and you have to do it anyway.
And there's the ego side of jumping out of the plane, and then there's the heart-centered aspiration to jump out of the plane. So it's like, if you're jumping out of the plane so you can look like more of a baller in the life hack culture, and you're just yelling at really what's happening is you are just yelling at or suppressing the fear of your inner child, then life is going to wake you up somehow. You're actually not becoming a wholer person. But what happens is the adrenaline and the accomplishment tells us that we achieved. It says success, but it actually is not success. It's like, it's pyrite. It's fake gold. And what can happen is, and you see this in our space, right? It's like, I was this baller. I was this overachiever. I was this mega whatever. And then there's a diagnosis. Or then there's a mental breakdown. Or then there's a panic attack on national television. And that is and it doesn't matter whether you're male, female, however you identify. That is your unconscious, unhealed inner child self having the panic attack on national television. So you can stop and be a more conscious person and say, wow, I got some stuff under my hood I better look at. Maybe I should not be jumping out of planes for a while so I can learn what it is to be inclusive. Now, the heart center part of us that jumps out of planes, go do it because you feel more alive. You feel closer to God. You feel like this is great for your nervous system. You are pushing limits that have you be more vivacious and vibrant. And you're taking your fear with you. It's like, I've got this and I want to expand, and I'm bringing my fear with me on the plane. There's like a gentle fierceness to it. Whole different experience. Yeah.